Have you ever crossed paths with someone and felt an immediate, inexplicable connection? That strange sensation that you've known them forever, despite having just met. Carl Jung, the renowned Swiss psychiatrist, believed these profound connections weren't mere coincidence, but rather evidence of something deeper at work in our unconscious minds. When two souls align energetically, something magical happens. It transcends rational explanation and speaks directly to our deepest selves. Today, we're exploring this phenomenon through the lens of Jungian psychology and modern science to understand what happens when souls recognize each other and why no force can truly keep them apart when they're meant to connect. Jung introduced the concept of synchronicity, meaningful coincidences that occur without causal explanation, but seem profoundly connected through significance rather than sequence. These aren't random events, but reflections of deeper patterns in our collective unconscious. When applied to human relationships, synchronicity helps explain those encounters that feel destined or arranged by some invisible hand. The alignment of two souls begins long before they physically meet. According to Jung, we each carry within us a constellation of archetypes, universal patterns and images that form the collective unconscious. These archetypes shape our perceptions, behaviors, and attractions, often without our conscious awareness. When we encounter someone whose archetypal energies complement or mirror our own, we experience that unmistakable feeling of recognition. This is more than just compatibility or shared interests. It's a resonance that occurs at an energetic level, where the unconscious parts of ourselves recognize and respond to something familiar yet mysterious in another person. Jung called this phenomenon the recognition of the self in the other. It's as if we're meeting a part of our own soul that exists outside ourselves. Modern neuroscience offers fascinating insights into these connections. Research on mirror neurons shows that our brains are wired to synchronize with others emotionally. When we observe someone experiencing an emotion, the same neural circuits activate in our own brains as if we were experiencing it ourselves. This biological mechanism creates the foundation for deep empathy and emotional attunement between people. Additionally, studies on heart coherence conducted by the HeartMath Institute suggest that our hearts generate electromagnetic fields that can be detected several feet away from our bodies. When two people are in close proximity, their heart rhythms can actually synchronize, especially during moments of emotional connection. This physiological entrainment might explain the physical sensations we experience when we're around someone with whom we share a profound connection. The quickened heartbeat, the sense of warmth, the feeling of being energetically in tune. But these soul connections aren't always romantic. They can manifest as friendships, mentorships, or even brief encounters that profoundly change our life trajectory. Jung believed that significant relationships serve specific purposes in our journey toward individuation, the process of becoming our complete, authentic selves. Some people enter our lives to help us heal wounds, others to challenge our limitations, and still others to awaken dormant aspects of our potential. What makes these connections so powerful is their ability to bypass our conscious defenses and speak directly to our unconscious mind. When we meet someone who reflects parts of ourselves we've repressed or haven't yet acknowledged, it creates both attraction and discomfort. This explains why some of our most transformative relationships can also be the most challenging. They bring to light aspects of ourselves we need to integrate, but may have been avoiding. Jung called this phenomenon projection, the unconscious transfer of our own unrecognized qualities onto another person. When we're powerfully drawn to someone, we're often responding to our own disowned qualities that they embody more freely. This is why we sometimes feel like certain people complete us. They're actually expressing parts of ourselves we haven't yet claimed. The concept of the anima and animus in Jungian psychology further illuminates these soul connections. Jung proposed that men carry an inner feminine archetype, the anima, and women an inner masculine archetype, the animus. When we encounter someone who embodies qualities of our anima or animus, we experience a powerful, often romantic attraction that feels fated or destined. These relationships have an otherworldly quality because they're connecting us with the contrasexual aspects of our own psyche. This explains why certain relationships feel so intensely familiar from the start. There's a recognition happening at the archetypal level, a sense that we've known this person before, perhaps in another lifetime. While Jung wasn't necessarily advocating for literal reincarnation, he acknowledged that these connections tap into timeless patterns in the collective unconscious that transcend individual experience. But what happens when these aligned souls are separated by circumstances, timing, or other external forces? Jung would suggest that true energetic alignment cannot be permanently thwarted by external obstacles. When two people are genuinely connected at the soul level, their paths will continue to cross until the purpose of their connection is fulfilled. This doesn't mean every intense connection is destined to become a lifelong relationship. Sometimes these soul encounters are meant to be brief but transformative catalysts for growth rather than permanent fixtures. The energy between two aligned souls creates a field of possibility, but how that energy manifests depends on many factors, including each person's stage of psychological development and readiness for transformation. Jung emphasized that meaningful relationships often follow a pattern of separation and return. The initial connection may be interrupted by life circumstances, personal limitations, or the need for individual growth. But if the connection is authentic, there will be a gravitational pull bringing these souls back together when the timing is right. This explains the phenomenon of people reconnecting after years or even decades apart, often finding that the energetic bond between them remains intact. What's particularly fascinating about these soul connections is how they seem to operate outside normal space-time constraints. Many people report dreams or intuitive flashes about someone before meeting them physically. Others describe feeling someone's presence or emotional state across great distances. Jung attributed these phenomena to what he called the acausal connecting principle, the idea that the unconscious mind operates according to different laws than our conscious, rational thinking. The concept of quantum entanglement in physics provides an interesting parallel. When two particles become entangled, they remain connected regardless of distance, with the state of one particle instantly influencing the other. Some theorists have proposed that human consciousness might operate at similar quantum principles, allowing for non-local connections between people who are energetically attuned to each other. But these soul connections aren't just mystical experiences, they serve practical psychological purposes. They often arrive at crucial junctures in our lives when we're ready for significant transformation. They challenge our existing paradigms, heal old wounds, and expand our capacity for love and understanding. In Jungian terms, they facilitate our individuation process, the journey toward becoming our complete, integrated selves. This is why these connections can feel simultaneously blissful and uncomfortable. They're not just validating who we already are, they're calling us toward who we're meant to become. They illuminate both our light and shadow aspects, requiring us to face parts of ourselves we might prefer to keep hidden. True soul alignment doesn't allow us to remain comfortable in our limitations, it demands growth. Jung observed that meaningful relationships often follow the alchemical principle of solve et coagula, dissolve and coagulate. First, the connection dissolves our existing structures and defenses, creating a state of psychological openness. Then, it facilitates the coagulation or integration of previously separated aspects of ourselves. This alchemical process explains why these relationships can feel both destructive and creative simultaneously. They're breaking down old patterns to make way for new integration. The timing of these soul connections is rarely random. They often appear when we've reached an impasse in our development, or when we're ready to transcend an old way of being. Jung noted that significant dreams and synchronicities tend to cluster around major life transitions, and the same is true for meaningful relationships. They arrive as guides when we're ready to cross thresholds we couldn't navigate alone. But what about the practical reality of maintaining these connections in everyday life? Jung was clear that even the most profound soul connections require conscious attention and development. The initial recognition may feel magical and effortless, but sustaining the connection demands psychological work from both parties. Each person must be willing to face their projections, integrate their shadows, and grow beyond their comfort zones. This explains why some initially powerful connections don't endure. If one or both people resist the growth that the connection is catalyzing, the energy between them becomes distorted or blocked. The relationship may become stuck in projection and power struggles rather than evolving toward greater consciousness and authenticity. Jung emphasized that true soul alignment doesn't create dependency or fusion. Rather, it supports each person in becoming more fully themselves. As he famously said, "The meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed." This mutual transformation is the hallmark of authentic soul connection. In our modern world, we often try to control, predict, and manage our relationships through dating apps, compatibility tests, and rational analysis. While these tools have their place, Jung would remind us that the deepest connections often defy our conscious intentions and plans. They emerge from the mysterious interplay between our conscious and unconscious minds, guided by forces larger than our ego's desires. This doesn't mean we should passively wait for fate to deliver our perfect match. Jung advocated active engagement with the unconscious through dreams, creative expression, and symbolic thinking. By developing a relationship with our own depths, we become more attuned to recognizing authentic connections when they appear in our external lives. The paradox of soul alignment is that it feels simultaneously like coming home and embarking on an unknown journey. There's the comfort of recognition, the sense that we've found someone who sees and accepts our essence, coupled with the exhilarating uncertainty of where this connection might lead us. Jung would say this paradox reflects the nature of the self, which is both our most intimate core and our most expansive potential. When two souls truly align, the connection transcends the ordinary boundaries of relationship. It becomes a vessel for something greater, a partnership in service to each person's highest development and perhaps to something beyond both individuals. Jung called this the transcendent function, the emergence of a new consciousness that couldn't be created by either person alone. So what can we learn from Jung's insights about soul alignment? Perhaps most importantly, that these connections aren't random accidents, but meaningful patterns in the tapestry of our lives. They arrive with purpose, even when that purpose isn't immediately clear to our conscious minds. And when the energy between two souls is authentic, no external obstacle can permanently prevent what needs to unfold between them. This doesn't mean these connections are always easy or comfortable. Often they're quite the opposite, challenging us at our core and requiring us to grow beyond our familiar limitations. But there's a profound difference between the discomfort of authentic growth and the suffering of forcing connections where no true alignment exists. Jung would encourage us to approach our most significant relationships with both reverence and curiosity, honoring their mystery, while also engaging actively with the transformation they invite. When we do this, we discover that soul connections aren't just about finding our other half, but about becoming more fully ourselves through the mirror that another soul provides. In the end, perhaps the most beautiful aspect of soul alignment is how it connects us to something larger than our individual lives. These profound relationships remind us that we're part of an interconnected web of consciousness, where meaningful patterns emerge across time and space. They offer glimpses of a reality where love isn't just a personal emotion but a force of coherence in the universe itself. As Jung himself wrote, "The meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed." When the energy of two souls truly aligns, transformation isn't just possible, it's inevitable. And no force in the universe can permanently prevent what is meant to unfold between them.